Knock, knock. Who's there? Doctor. Doctor who? Dr. Victor Levay. And I've got a story for you. It's not a very good joke, is it? But he really has. So, Dr. Victor Levay's 1915 paper concludes with a diagram of loadings. And he shows there are 5 conditions for that loading. And he's proven that that spin is anti-clockwise, produces an anti-clockwise rotation in the rest of the paper. And so what he's analysing here is load at the moment of failure in a beam. So he's taken the analysis of a concrete beam bending, and that there's a moment of bending is created. It's a space, a volume is created inside the beam, and inside that volume the actual moment of failure occurs, the fracture. And he says in that moment of fracture there's an anti-clockwise spin, and therefore when you temper steel and set it all up, you're then basing your reinforced concrete on this anti-clockwise spin, and you've trapped it by tempering the steel and gluing it to the concrete. But what he's proven on a quantum universal scale is why the universe has a right-hand twist. Because the anti-clockwise rotation that he's proven exists at the moment of fracture is relative to somewhere else, and that somewhere else is the time. It's really hard. That somewhere else is somewhere else. It's relative to it, and it's just a vector, plus to minus. And in this case we take the notation that clockwise is negative, anti-clockwise is positive. And so immediately you can see you've got 2 motions. There's no rest mass. But if you measure from the perspective of the anti-clockwise spinning mass, you get a right-hand twist to what you see when you look back in time towards the other place, which is the same place in time, distance in space, going to have that twist in it. That's what Levay has proven. And so if you think that might be true, and if you think that they knew this in 1915, because this paper was published in 1915, and you look at who he is, Dr. Victor Levay, and you start to put some pieces together, and you'll go, blimey, we're in trouble. We need a way out. What's the way out? Believe that this might be true. So please just give it your time. I think, Martin, uni servant, that the 2 forces of the fine structure constant that you described so beautifully in your physics paper, which I did read, I promise, I struggled halfway through, but I got the concept. You're saying it's the ratio of 2 forces. Okay, I agree. It's 1 rotation of spin for 137 arc seconds of orbital deflection of a sphere rotating. And that when you look at figure 14, condition 5, and picture that load, the rectangular load, that's a dynamic load. It's a sphere rotating, creating the wave pattern underneath it, the W. It's just a sphere in there going fast. That's the moment of failure. And that rotation exists, and that's what holds an atom together, and then everything makes sense to me, and I hope it makes sense to you a little as well. So that's what 1/137 is. It's the spin angular momentum and the orbital angular momentum ratio there in Levay's condition 5, figure 14, 1915, and they gave us general relativity instead, and the Copenhagen interpretation. And now we're here. Okay, so good luck, people. Dr. Victor Lowe brings love. I will live, and love will live. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Love rules. Do the work. Choose.